Hello everyone. So in this video, I am going to explain how to read JSON file using Pyspark. Okay, and in this video, I am going to use DataBricks platform. Okay, so let's start. First, let me show you my JSON files. Okay, so let me see where I have kept. Yeah, so I have this standard line file. Okay, let me open this or yes. So first, I'm going to read this JSON file. Okay, this is a standard line file. Okay, in this we can see every line is a object. So inside the object, we have a field called name, session, score, completed. Okay, so and this entire thing we can consider as a struct type. Okay, and inside the field like this name is a struct field, session is a struct field, score is a struct field, completed is a struct field. Okay, and this entire thing is a struct type. So this is my very simple JSON file, but in the next or can say in the upcoming videos, I will have a more complex JSON file. Okay, so let's start with first simple JSON file, then we'll see how to read or how to flatten a complex JSON file. Okay, now let's come to the DataBricks. In the DataBricks, we have a catalog. So in the catalog, we can store data in the form of table as well as we can also have a file. Okay, so in my learn PySpark catalog, I have a volume. Okay, I created a volume. So in the volume, what we can do, we can store or we can upload the file. Okay, so inside the learn PySpark, I have a schema called PySpark. So in this schema, I had created a one volume. In this volume, the volume name is practice. Okay, in this volume, I have a three files. Okay, standard. First, I am going to explain this standard line file. Okay, and then I will explain some complex JSON file. Then I will explain some corrupted JSON file. Okay, we'll see everything one by one. So let's start with standard file JSON. Okay, standard line file. So I already showed the example. How does it look like? Now how to read this? Okay. So to read this JSON file, the command is very simple. Spark.read.json. Okay. Very simple command. Spark.read.json. Okay. So this is my basic. So I'm not explaining any other options. Okay. So but in the upcoming video, I will also explain what are the options available while reading the JSON file. So simple spark.read.json and this is my file path. How did I get this? I just copied from this just click on three dot, copy volume path. Okay, and I got this path. Okay, simply we can see it's the same. Now let's run this. I'm going to read this JSON file. Wait for a few seconds. Okay, so actually it does not take this much time because first time I am running, so it is a cluster is being started. So once the cluster start, if I run next time, it won't take that much time. So it's done. Now let's print this data. So print the data, we just need to use display command. So first what I did, first I read the file spark.read.json. Then what happened, it got saved in this variable and it's saved in the form of data frame. Okay, now to display or can say to print the data of data frame, we have to run this display command. Okay, so when I ran this display, I can see the data. Okay, the data is same as like that. So in this simply I read the JSON file. Okay, now we have one more thing. So what happened when we write a code called spark.read.json, what happened? PySpark automatically infer the schema. Okay, so we don't need to provide the schema. This is one thing. Okay, so if we hover on the this completed, then we can say its type is boolean. So PySpark automatically inferred its type is boolean. Name, let me hover and see its type is string. Score, big integer. Session, string. Okay, but let's print and see. Dot print. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to print the schema of this data frame. Let's see what do we get. We can see completed, type is boolean, name string, score long, session string. Okay, so the thing is like here it automatically infer the schema, so we did not apply schema here. Okay, we just read the file spark.read.json, and then while displaying we like after reading the file, it loaded into data frame. Okay, and automatically defined the schema by PySpark. Okay, but we have an option to define a schema. Let's see how. So it's a very simple. Okay, very simple. First, we need to import some of the class. Okay. So one is a struct type, a struct field. Okay. Then string type, then integer type, and then array type. Okay. So let me explain the file. So this entire thing is a struct type. Okay. So in this, the name column is a struct field. Then this session column is a struct field. Score is a struct field. Completed is a struct field. Okay. Now the value. So for the name, the value is string type. Session, the value is either integer or can say big integer or long. Score, same. Either integer, big integer, long. Completed. So we can say true. It's a boolean type, but we can consider this as a string type. So when PySpark read, it automatically infer as a boolean type, but manually we can define it's a string type. Okay, now let's come. So now I am defining the schema. So we know this entire thing is struct type. So what I did is started with a struct type. Okay, so inside the struct type we have seen we have multiple columns called name, score, session, completed. So inside the array, I mean this bracket, I started to define struct field, completed, and its value type is string type, and then whether it's nullable or not. True means the column is nullable. Then comma. Now I am defining another struct field called name. Its type is string type. True means it's nullable. So if I don't write true, it means it's not nullable, non-nullable. Okay. Then again another schema score session. Okay, and also define its type. So after that, spark dot read dot schema, not JSON. Okay, and then provide this schema. This is the schema that I declared. Okay, so spark dot read dot schema dot JSON. So here I am defining schema and providing the schema while reading the file. Okay, so now what is the use? Why we should define the schema if PySpark automatically infer the schema? So this is question. Okay, so let me explain you. Just assume I have this file. Okay, so let me modify this file. I am explaining why should we define a schema. Okay. Okay. So assume, don't consider this as a 4 record. Consider this is 4 million record. Just assume this. So what happened when PySpark infer the schema? PySpark does not look for entire record. Okay. It look for some of the sample record. Okay. So in the sample record, it just inside the sample record, it try to find a schema. So assume while looking into the sample record, PySpark look for only those this two record, or you can say like 2 million records. Assume this. Okay, so and it disregarded other records. Okay, because if PySpark is going to read 4 million record, it may take time. So it just look for the sample of record to define the schema. So while reading this much record, it found like name, session, score. Only four struct field are there, or can say only four columns are there. So definitely it is going to miss this completed struct field or column. Okay. So now in my example, I did not face any problem because my file is very small, only 4 records. But if we have a very large file and have a millions of record, in those kind of file, if we don't provide a schema, we might get some column missing problem. Okay, so it's better to define a schema on that scenario. Or if user says some of the columns are missing, then we need to define those columns. Then definitely we can get a value. Okay, so now we understood why should we define the schema. Okay, so here let me run this command. Here I am manually providing a schema. Okay, now if I run, I will see the same records. Okay, now one more thing. So just assume, okay, so actually I had not modified my original file that is inside the volume. Okay, this is my just example file and it is on my local system. Okay, so let me modify my file and then we'll rerun this. So catalog, let's save this file. Learn PySpark, sorry, learn PySpark. Okay, where is my PySpark? Yeah, learn PySpark, PySpark. Then this is my volume. Okay, in the volume, I have some file. This standard line file.json. Let me click on three dot, and I want to delete and create a new one. Okay, or let me upload new one. Okay, so conflict overwrite file with same file name. Let's overwrite and remove the existing one. Okay, so in this new file, we don't have completed value for first 3 record. Okay, now let's come here. Okay, let's rerun this and let's rerun this. So first 3 record, the completed value should be null. We can see the completed value is null, and for the last record its value is true because we had modified our original file. Okay, so in the next video I will explain complex JSON file. Okay, where we will have a like a struct inside struct, will have a array field inside struct, then struct field inside array. Okay, we'll explain everything with example. Thank you.